Good morning. Pastor David here with a central devotion for you. You know, talking about church unity, it is important to understand that as Christians we behave differently than the rest of the world, that God calls us to a different standard, that He would have us think differently about others and to see our interaction with others as something very important as it fits within the Christian faith. I'm reminded of what the words of 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 8 say. It says, "Finally, all of you have unity of mind, sympathy, brotherly love, a tender heart, a humble mind. Do not repay evil for evil or reviling for reviling, but on the contrary, bless, for to this you were called, that you may obtain a blessing." It's a reminder that God has called us to a different way of life, a different standard. In this letter of the Apostle Peter's, his first letter, he's addressing Christians who are undergoing suffering, that they've been dispersed, and that they've also had to live under stressful circumstances because of their faith in Christ. And he gives an instruction for cohesion, that he wants these Christians to live together in harmony, to get along with each other. And he addresses relationships within the church. Anytime that you have two individuals together, there is always the possibility for disagreement or conflict. And for the Christian, sometimes it takes an attitude that says, maybe my point of view is not as important as getting along. Now, I'm not advocating for a compromise to truth, but I am advocating that sometimes relationships are more important than to be proving a point. Our first inclination should be to be humble and to love others and to be at peace with others, rather than reviling for reviling or arguing for the sake of arguing. I'm reminded of a video that I recently viewed online of two people who had had a disagreement while driving. One driver against another driver, and they had pulled over to a parking lot, and these two men were squaring off, getting into a fight, all over traffic. And so it was a reminder that this world, there's plenty of conflict, and we all can have our tempers flare at different times over various situations, especially when convenience is at stake. But God calls us to a different standard. He calls us to have unity of mind with others, to be sympathetic toward others, to have tender hearts towards others, and to have humility. These are all important, and yet they're never easy. I read once where God's first inclination is to love, that every time in the Bible where God judges, He has to be provoked to judgment. Well, as Christians, our first inclination ought to be to love and to understand and not to act out. I hope that this encourages you today, and I hope to see you on Sunday. May the Lord bless you.